Imagine stepping into London, 1951. You're expecting, maybe, post-war recovery vibes, the Festival of Britain, but then you look up, and there's a colossal swastika flag flying over the Skylon Tower.
Yeah, it's a really stark image. Instantly chilling.
Absolutely. And that's where this deep dive takes us, into this, well, deeply unsettling alternate history where the Nazis actually won World War II.
It's a world that's been fundamentally twisted, you know, temporal interference. And our sources for this, they give this incredibly detailed narrative of one specific journey through it all. It really shows how this reality could even happen.
And it digs into the layers, doesn't it? You've got Nazi-occupied Britain, these shadowy forces manipulating history behind the scenes.
Exactly. And the sources explore just how deep that manipulation goes.
So our mission today isn't just to map out this nightmare timeline, but to really understand why it matters. What are the stakes when you try to set time back to its original, difficult path?
And what does this whole scenario tell us about things like power and control and maybe even history itself?
Right. So let's dive into this twisted version of 1951 London. Our main characters, the Doctor and Ace, they materialize near the Thames. What's the first thing that just screams wrong?
Well, it's that Skylon Tower, like you said. It should be this symbol of hope, of innovation, post-war Britain looking forward.
But instead,
Instead, boom, swastika flag, a symbol of total oppression just draped over it. Ace actually mentioned seeing one like it before in a replica Berlin cipher room. So she instantly gets how bad this is.
and it's not just symbols, is it? The occupation feels settled, like King Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson are back on the throne.
Yeah, restored, as the narrative puts it. Britain's basically a German protectorate.
Yeah.
And you've got Oswald Mosley as prime minister addressing a national socialist parliament. It's grim.
So what does this mean day to day for people? We hear about the Britisher Freikorps, the BFK. What are they like?
Oh, they're shown as pretty much what you'd expect. Petty, brutal. There's this incident almost immediately at Harry Gould's coffee stall. Some BFK youths, basically thugs, trying to shake him down.
And the Doctor gets involved.
He does. And this is where it gets interesting and maybe a bit disturbing. He uses what the source calls the Gestapo technique and Schnauzen. It's basically just pure intimidation, screaming, yelling.
He uses their own methods against them.
Right. And it works, scares them off. But the Doctor reflects on it later. How easy it was to slip into that role. How power, even used against oppressors, can, well, corrupt.
That's a heavy thought, that fine line. Makes you wonder. So after this encounter, what pulls them deeper into the mess?
Well, shortly after, they actually witness a murder. A high-ranking Nazi official, a Reichsinspector General, gets killed right near them.
And the Doctor gets something from him.
Yeah, as the man's dying, he hands the Doctor this mysterious folder. Classic plot device, but it works. Hints of conspiracy.
And alongside this, they're seeing signs that this isn't just a standard occupation. There's something more advanced about this Reich.
Totally. They check out the Dome of Discovery, another Festival of Britain landmark, but inside, it's full of plans for a Nazi moon landing.
Wow, okay. So a technologically boosted, spacefaring Third Reich. That's terrifyingly ambitious.
It really ups the stakes, doesn't it? It shows
Yeah.
this isn't just about controlling Britain. It's about something much bigger.
And inevitably, they get noticed. They're captured by this Lieutenant Hemmings of the BFK. How does he handle them?
He's portrayed as quite calculating, uses psychological interrogation tactics. The source mentions things like terrifying noises off, the old beaten-up fellow prisoner trick to try and break them down.
But the Doctor's seen this playbook before, right?
Oh, yeah. He's calm, observational. He recognizes the techniques for what they are. Standard procedure, almost boring to him in a way.
So how do they get out of this one?
Resourcefulness, as always. They use a small silver coin, jam it in a light socket with a bulb.
To cause a power surge. Clever.
Exactly. Short circuits the cell door lock. They overpower the guard. And then, just pure audacity, they steal a Nazi limousine.
Ha! Love it. Where are they heading? Back to get the TARDIS.
Well, that's the plan. They head back towards the BFK headquarters, only to get the biggest shock yet.
Which is?
The TARDIS isn't where they left it. The BFK already found it.
Yeah.
And it's inside the very headquarters they just broke out of.
Oh, that is classic. So escape is only half the battle. Now they have to break back in to get their time machine.
Precisely. Their mission just got a whole lot harder.
Okay, so TARDIS gone, stuck in 1951 Nazi London. The Doctor realizes this timeline deviation, this wrongness, must have started much earlier.
Right. He figures 1951 is just a symptom, not the cause. So the logical step is to go back, find the root. He settles on Munich, 1923.
Why 1923?
That's the beer hall putsch,
Yeah.
a key moment in Hitler's rise. The doctor thinks maybe the change happened there. He talks about needing to make delicate adjustments,
Yeah.
not just crudely interfering.
Right, the don't saw the patient's head off analogy. Temporal surgery, basically.
Pretty much. So they managed to rig a way back, arriving right in the middle of the putsch. Historically, it was a bit of a mess for Hitler, wasn't it?
Yeah, the narrative describes his speeches as wild, rambling, full of hate, but ultimately failing. It ended in street fighting, humiliation for him. He even nearly, well, attempted suicide. It could have been the end of his political career.
But here's the twist in this version of events.
Mm-hmm.
As the chaos unfolds, someone tries to shoot Hitler. Not with a normal gun, though. With an energy weapon.
Oh, okay, so someone else is meddling with time here, trying to take Hitler out early.
Seems like it. But the doctor raises that classic paradox, doesn't he? If you remove Hitler, who takes his place? Maybe someone worse, someone more competent, but just as evil.
The competent madman scenario, a chilling thought. Sometimes the known evil
Is better than the unknown.
Yeah.
So fast forward. They jump ahead to 1939, a massive Nuremberg rally. How's that depicted?
Oh, it's intense. The source calls it a mad religious ceremony, searchlights, banners, the whole spectacle. You really get a sense of the power, the fervor.
And you see the key players. Going Yang looking sort of cynically amused by it all.
Yeah.
And Himmler.
Himmler's the really unsettling one here, isn't he? Already deep into the occult, his influence growing.
Definitely. And then there's Hitler himself. Older, heavier, but the source notes this unearthly light in his eyes.
That's what the doctor picks up on, right?
Right.
He doesn't just see Hitler, he sees someone controlled, possessed.
Exactly. He suspects an external force is manipulating him. It feels different from the Timewyrm's usual style, her chaotic hurricane of evil. This seems more directed, long-term.
And there's that memo they find later, the top secret one about psychically amplifying Hitler's speeches.
Right. It all points to some kind of sophisticated, maybe technological or psychic manipulation, not just random temporal chaos.
So to figure this out, they need to get inside the regime. How do they manage that?
Infiltration time. The doctor adopts a persona Reichs Inspector General, using the same title as the man murdered back in '51. He plays on the internal rivalries, the paranoia within the Nazi elite. He's actually brilliant at it.
Using their own backstabbing nature against them. And Ace, what's she up to?
Ace has some memorable encounters. The source gives these great little scenes, her having these darkly witty run-ins with Goebbels and Ribbentrop. She just cuts through their pomposity.
You need those moments, don't you? That bit of defiance. It keeps the horror from being completely overwhelming.
Absolutely. And it's through this infiltration, getting close to Himmler's inner circle, that they finally encounter the real mastermind.
Dr. Kriegsleiter.
Yeah. Described as this deformed, almost spider-like figure involved in Himmler's occult dabblings, his Black Coven.
And the doctor recognizes him instantly.
Instantly. It's the war chief, a Time Lord renegade, someone the doctor thought was long gone, defeated years ago.
And his appearance, his deformity, that's linked to their past conflict.
Directly. The source explains his last regeneration went wrong, aborted partly because of the doctor's actions and partly because of manipulations by another Time Lord, Barusa. So his presence here isn't just about power, it's deeply personal revenge against the doctor.
Okay, so the war chief is back, he's manipulating Hitler, and he's been orchestrating this altered timeline. That significantly raises the stakes. So we've got the war chief pulling the strings, Hitler possessed. But what about the Timewyrm, this chaotic entity the doctor initially suspected? Where does she fit in?
Well, the doctor's understanding evolves here. He starts to think that Timewyrm isn't actually the one in control. She's more like this immense, uncontrollable force that's been somehow caught.
Caught. How?
He theorizes she's racketing around the cosmos like an out-of-control tube train, as the source vividly puts it, and maybe she's become trapped inside Hitler. Less of a driver, more of a volatile passenger, or even fuel.
Wow. Okay, so the war chief is potentially exploiting the Timewyrm's presence within Hitler, using her chaotic energy for his own ends.
That seems to be the idea.
Yeah.
It makes the situation even more unstable, and this becomes critical when Ace gets captured.
Right, she's used as bait. What does this reveal about the war chief's ultimate plan?
It's horrifying, frankly. He shows Ace his endgame. These SS zombies, soldiers who've been psychically altered, brainwashed. They feel no pain, no fear, no emotion, just automatons.
And what's the goal with them?
To rewrite history completely. Create a permanent Nazi Earth and then expand outwards. A Nazi galaxy. He's thinking big, and underneath the castle where he's holding Ace, Drakensberg, there's a secret atomic reactor. The scale of his ambition is just Immense.
A Nazi galaxy powered by zombie soldiers and atomic energy, orchestrated by a vengeful Time Lord. That's quite the nightmare scenario.
And driven, as we established, by his own twisted history, his botched regeneration, his hatred for the Doctor and the Time Lords, its personal fuel for this galactic-scale horror.
So the climax is building. Ace is set up for some kind of ritual sacrifice at Drakensberg Castle. What's the Doctor's move?
He plays a desperate but brilliant gambit. He knows Himmler, despite everything, is genuinely loyal to Hitler. So the Doctor works to expose Kriegslater, the war chief, as being treasonous, as planning to usurp Hitler's power.
Ah, playing on Himmler's fanaticism to create division within the ranks.
Exactly. Sowing chaos amongst the Nazi leadership, right when the war chief thinks he's about to consolidate his power.
And does it work?
It creates the opening he needs. The Doctor manages to get a message out, contacting Hermann Göring.
Gorham!
Rivalry. He plays on Göring's intense rivalry with Himmler. Basically tells him Himmler's gone rogue, making a power grab at Drakensberg.
Oh, that's clever. Pitting them against each other.
And Göring takes the bait, sends an armored column to attack the castle. So now you've got Nazis fighting Nazis, total chaos.
And the Doctor and Ace are caught in the middle.
Right in the thick of it. They're up on the castle parapets, actually helping the attacking Wehrmacht forces, even firing an anti-aircraft gun at one point. Against the war chief's SS zombies. The source describes their corpse discipline, how they keep fighting, even with horrific injuries. Completely relentless. It's gruesome stuff.
A true battle for history. How does the Doctor finally break the war chief's hold and, well, fix things?
In the heart of all this chaos, he uses this device, basically an old storm lantern. He's infused with energy from the TARDIS matrix. It acts as a telepathic relay.
To do what?
To reach into Hitler's mind and forcibly expel the Timewyrm. Pull her out.
And that's the key. Removing the Timewyrm's influence is what resets the timeline.
That's the critical act. With the Timewyrm gone from that focal point, the altered timeline collapses. History starts to revert to its original course. But it's described as a bitter victory for the Doctor.
Bitter why? Because fixing history means allowing the real horrors of World War II to happen.
Precisely. He's restored the timeline, yes. But that means preventing the Nazi victory also means ensuring that Dresden, Hiroshima, all the immense suffering of the actual war now will happen, as it should.
That's a heavy burden. The moral complexity of restoring a history that contains such tragedy, just because the alternative was arguably worse, or at least fundamentally wrong.
It really makes you think about what winning means in situations like this. It's not clean. It's certainly not simple.
So the timeline resets. What does London 1951 look like now?
It's normal. They return, and the Skylon Tower is just the Skylon Tower. No swastika, just standing there, proud symbol of the Festival of Britain.
And Harry Gould's coffee stall.
He's there. Harry Goldstein, cheerful, serving coffee. No BFK thugs hassling him. Instead, there's just a jovial policeman nearby. The whole atmosphere is different, lighter.
Did Dr. and Ace get that moment of relief then? A cup of tea?
They do. A celebratory cup of tea and a bun. Just appreciating the ordinary, the simple normalcy that was almost completely erased. That feeling of, okay, we did it. It's back.
But there's usually a but, isn't there? Is all the evil truly gone?
Well, that's the chilling final note. Lieutenant Hemmings, the calculating BFK officer who seemed to be killed in the castle's collapse during the climax.
He survived?
Not exactly. His body survived, perhaps. But the source ends with this coda revealing Hemmings is now speaking with an icily beautiful voice. A voice promising revenge. It seems so. Fragmented, maybe, after being ripped out of Hitler, but still active. It's found a new host. Evil hasn't been destroyed, just displaced, adapted.
Wow. So even when you fix history, the underlying forces, the potential for that kind of chaos, it just finds another way.
That seems to be the implication, that the battle is never truly over.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a pretty profound thought, doesn't it? If history can be swayed so easily, if evil just transforms instead of disappearing, what does setting things right actually mean?
Yeah, and how many other battles, maybe smaller, maybe quieter, are being fought constantly, just beneath the surface of the reality we think we know?
Something to definitely think about.